Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing, I can't really say daily at this point because I haven't been doing them every day, but almost daily Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the 8th season of the Walking Dead television series. In this one first, we're going to compare villains, who is the better group of villains between Negan's the Saviors and Alpha's the Whisperers. And spoiler warning if you are not caught up for The Walking Dead as well as Fear the Walking Dead. So we have 1 week to the premiere for Fear the Walking Dead Season 3. I'm pretty excited. Got the double premiere next Sunday night, June 4th. And man, it should be some fun. So we're going to see what they've got for us this summer. And I'm also interested to see how this series continues to go, whether or not Fear the Walking Dead is going to continue. It's been renewed for Season 4, but I've seen a lot of fans drop off the show, people who love The Walking Dead, not so into Fear. So I'm excited to see how things go with Season 3 of Fear, whether or not it can turn things around and whether or not the audience will get re-interested in it, as I know there are a lot of people that just really are not feeling Fear. So very excited for that. For this video discussion topic is going to be, we're going to be comparing the Saviors for the Whisperers first, and who is the better group of villains. So I'll say, let's start with the Saviors, because of course they come into the series first. We're basing this mainly on the comic book series versions. The TV series version, the Saviors, have already come into the show, and we've gotten to see them. They've been very impressive in the television series, even more so, I want to say, than they were in the comics, because you have even more Saviors, and the double death kill is maybe even more brutal in the TV series version versus the comics. Well, I don't know. You get the double, so it's pretty brutal in the TV series, and they are introduced as a pretty fearsome group of villains, and especially their manpower, I want to say, is what's most impressive, because you have literally Negan and you have Simon, Dwight, and some of the other key Saviors, but you have so many groups of them. You have outposts, you have mini groups, like you have Gavin and his smaller group that goes to the kingdom. You just have so many of them as far as survivors go in the TV series for the Saviors. Also, Negan is an incredibly awesome leader, I want to say, as a villain. He's a great bad guy. He's a really great villain. He comes in, maybe the strongest introduction of any villain ever in The Walking Dead. I mean, he literally comes in with a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire and starts beating people's heads in. That's about as badass of a horror villain intro you could possibly get. Plus, he's looking good while he's doing it. He's got the hair slicked back. He's got the bright white shiny smile. He's got the psychopathic ear to ear Joker smile, and he's an awesome villain. So you guys know how much I love Negan, that's for sure. One of the weaknesses I want to say of the Saviors is kind of, I want to say, outside of Negan, they don't have too many other, mainstay, characters. Like in the TV series, Simon, and, of course, Dwight. But aside from that, there's not too many others that really stand out. They've kind of brought others in versus the comic books. Like you have, Jared? So he's a pretty good bad guy, easy to hate, geeky guy that kills Ben and that kind of deal. So there's some standouts from the Saviors. We'll have to see how they get interpreted for the Whisperers when we see them either late season 8 or most likely season 9, when we finally get to see a good portion of the Whisperers in the TV series. But looking at them as a group of villains, you've got Alpha. Was really surprised in the comic book series, this is spoilers now, when they revealed that Alpha was a female. So you have a female leader of such a huge, strong group. It was a pretty good twist. We find out about her daughter, and she's a pretty strong leader in her own right. She's pretty fearsome. All the Whisperers respect her. She's got some really strong characters that protect her, such as Beta, some of the others that are kind of unnamed. A lot of the Whisperers in the comic book series are sort of unnamed. Similarly with the Saviors, they have maybe a couple key ones there, and then most of the rest are kind of just like, it even more so than the Saviors, because the Whisperers kind of dehumanize people to where there's Alpha, there's Beta, and then everyone else just kind of loses their identity as a Whisperer, so they kind of just blend in with the horde of Whisperers, so to speak. It's not like they have their own identity, like maybe a David from the Saviors or somebody like that. They don't even, in a lot of cases, really like have their own name, so to speak, so far as we know. So we'll have to see how they get interpreted as villains in the TV series. But of course, they have their own kind of gimmick, which is where they live among the dead. They do not have a home base. They kind of travel around, take what they need, survive, and wear the zombie skins to fit in with the zombies. They have like their own zombie horde and everything, huge herd that they can use if they need to, and they're a really fearsome group as well, and also very brutal. You get kind of the intro with Alpha, you get the heads on the spikes and some of the other stuff that she does near the beginning. Rick being just very confused and intimidated by Alpha, very big on dominance, Alpha, I usually say like alpha male, so this kind of deal. In this case, I guess alpha female, but really big on dominance and kind of showing their strength and showing how powerful they are right away to try to scare Rick and the others into not messing with them. So out of these two groups of villains, I really like them both. I really like the Whisperers, how unique they are as a group of villains. They're very well thought out, I think, as like a group of horror villain type of characters to see something like that. The whole idea of hearing them whisper and seeing them in the skins and all that kind of stuff, I just can't wait to see how that all gets fleshed out in the TV series. It should be really impressive to see. And we'll have to see how Alpha's interpreted, Beta, and some of the other key Whisperer members. But if I had to compare both, I definitely got to go with my favorite group of villains between these two as being the Saviors for one reason and one reason only. Negan, that's it. If it wasn't for Negan, I'd probably go with the Whisperers, because I just think Saviors are kind of like more atypical, biker bad guys, I guess you could look at them as. But the Whisperers have really cool gimmick with wearing the skins and everything. Really, really brutal, and really interesting kind of group culture around them with the things they do and kind of their tactics and everything. Very interesting. But Negan is so much fun. He's actually become one of my favorite characters in all The Walking Dead. As far as the comic book series goes, he's had a lot more time than the TV series, and he's right up there, like near the top. My favorite comic book series characters are like, you're going to have Rick, of course, you're going to have Carl, and Negan is right up there. He's like one of my top few favorite characters from the comic book series. So I feel like in the events of the comic series and what we see going on further, which I won't get into because it's too spoilery, Negan kind of shows how great of a leader he is and how useful he is and the things he can do. And as a result of that and getting to spend more time with him in that way, I got to say that I think he's, the Saviors are up on the Whisperers, even though it seems like at first the Whisperers are like the biggest threat we've ever seen in The Walking Dead. I kind of feel like the Saviors, in a way, at least with Negan anyway, are kind of, a more, I don't want to say fearsome group, but a more interesting group overall, and really fun group when you look at for their time when each group of villains comes in and what they do. Issue 100 and the season 7 premiere, it's some of the absolute best highlights in all of The Walking Dead, and just to see what happens with Negan later on, I can't wait to see all these events translated. But if I had to choose between which group I like better as villains, I'd have to go with Negan's The Saviors myself. And of course, you guys can write your comments below and let me know who you think are the better group of villains, which group of villains you enjoyed reading more in the comic book series, and maybe which you're more excited to see the future of in the TV series, as of course the Whisperers have not arrived yet, but they'll be coming up pretty soon. It's not that far off. So I am really excited to see them, and I'm not saying that their first, their interpretation or their adaptation from the comic book series to the TV series, will be a disappointment or letdown or anything. I'm very excited to see the Whisperers. It's just Negan's like my favorite as a bad guy for Walking Dead. He's like the all-time best Walking Dead villain to me now, whereas one time the Governor was, and I guess Shane was before that. I feel like Negan has trumped them all now, and we'll see if anybody ever outs Negan as the best Walking Dead villain. At this point, I'm thinking probably won't happen. So write your comments below, let me know what you guys think. Bob Ross says, what's good, Trev? I've been a surviving subscriber. I like that. Very well played, Bob. Very nice. Since season 2. Thanks for all the videos. Your channel is a killer. Here's a topic for you. Which character would you have been or would have been more brutal to see get killed off by Negan in the lineup? So, for example, viewers' Jaws would probably break if someone like Beth or somebody was the one who got bashed with the bat. So if you didn't know Bob, and some of you guys too, if you missed the videos, we kind of talked about this before season 8 started. They actually did announce that they filmed the deaths of everybody. So they filmed all the character deaths being killed off to try to prevent it from being leaked. Somehow it got leaked anyway, and it didn't work. They filmed like 11 character deaths, and I guess it was this big thing. But they did use them kind of in the premiere. There's like the potential deaths that you get to see of what happens with each one and how that goes, and kind of like think about what can still happen, Rick, and then you see kind of like each part of how it could play out, and he kind of envisions it. Well, there was one that was leaked online for Maggie where it's like not so fast, like it's not shown through as a potential, it's almost shown through as like this is what's happening. And man, that is brutal to see. I don't know if you can find it online still. You probably can. If anyone has a link to the video of Maggie getting Lucille'd, write it in the comments below. And I'm not bullshitting you guys. This is for real. This was actually out there online on YouTube and on Daily Motion and things like that to see another character. And like I said before that episode aired, I said that I really highly doubt they would use a female for the Lucille scene just because it's so brutal. I can't picture them doing it to where they actually show that. It's kind of crazy to me that they even filmed it, but to see it happen to Maggie is brutal. So because I've seen that one, I have to say that's probably the most brutal for me. But, a lot of them would be. Any of the women, to see any of the women get Lucille'd would just be brutal to see. It was brutal as it was, but, to see like, Maggie, Michonne, Rosita, any of the others that were there, any of them would have just been really brutal. Or even like Carl, because he's younger and that kind of stuff. So it was, it was a brutal premiere to get to see that. It was faithful to the comics for the most part, which was great. And I think any of the women, being killed off. You brought up Beth, if she was to survive longer, and they killed her off of that part instead. Also because she's got the dual, like she's a female, but she looks really young, like she's very young looking. In the TV series, she plays like a teenager, right? Like 16 or 17 or something. So that would have been just really like crazy brutal to see because, you got the combo. But you guys can write your comments below about that one also. Aaron Gerber says, hey Trev, who would you be more intimidated by, the Savers or the Whisperers? So that's where the video topic came from. So for Aaron, so who's more intimidated? Well, you might be able to say that the Whisperers are more intimidating once you figure out what the hell they're doing, because you think they're insane. But Negan's pretty intimidating too. Like if Negan gets you and he bashes in one of your heads with a bat afterwards, yeah, you're probably going to listen to that guy. You're probably not going to want to mess with that guy. But then again, the Whisperers too, they meet you, they put a bunch of people's heads on spikes or something, and that could be intimidating as well. So it's pretty hard to say. Maybe you want to go with the Whisperers for more intimidating just because of their gear and how they blend in and how you can't tell who's who. Like literally, you could be fighting against them and half of them could be zombies there, or 3/4, and you wouldn't know which one's which, and then one of them comes out from behind another one and like stabs you with a butcher knife or something. Really scary group for sure. Very intimidating. So, but Negan is also pretty intimidating when he wants to be. Alexander and the Savior says, Trev Q A Do, do you think that the decision to show 2 Fear the Walking Dead episodes on June 4th indicates that AMC is losing confidence in the show's ability to get ratings? AMC has never done this on The Walking Dead. Please give your thoughts. Keep up the good work. Well, with Walking Dead, they extend some episodes. They've never done like a 2-episode in one night type of deal. They've never needed to. With Fear, they did that with the season 2 finale, and I don't know why. I don't know if it has to do with the scheduling or something like that, or they just kind of wanted to blow us away by giving us like 2 great episodes at the same time, which I love, by the way. If you guys missed my review last year of that, that was incredible, and I can't wait to see this premiere and how this all looks. But yeah, I think AMC want. I think they're trying to do right by Walking Dead fans. They want to give us more Walking Dead. They know they can't pump out any more episodes of the original series as they already are. It's probably too taxing on the crew and the cast and everybody's too hard. They can't pump out more than 16 with a few extended. It's more like 17 or 18 or 19 episodes, somewhere around there. So they're giving us as much as they can, and then Fear as well. They're trying to get people hyped for Fear as well too. So I'm totally on board with that. The longer Walking Dead goes, the better it does and everything. I'm happy as a fan. I keep collecting Walking Dead stuff. I keep making videos with you guys. Have a good time, and comic book series as well too. The more Walking Dead I can get, the better for the most part. Even though Fear, you could argue it's not exactly Walking Dead. But, it's got Kirkman involved with it. It's still Walking Dead. It's just not the original series. It's like a, companion series to it. So I do think that by putting 2 episodes back to back together, they're trying to get people pumped for it. They're trying to get people into it. And I'll be there. I'll be doing reviews of it all season with you guys this year. And I'll let you know where I'm at with it. I'm very excited for it, and I'm happy to get it, because otherwise, rather than next weekend us having a double episode premiere of Fear, we wouldn't be getting anything for Walking Dead until October, which, that kind of sucked when it used to be that way for the first few seasons. I personally enjoy having Fear on and enjoy talking about with you guys, even if I acknowledge it's probably not as good as the original series. That'll be it for today's Q&A, guys. Let me know what you think. And if you like this video, please thumb it up below. Keep sending me your questions for Q&A, guys. I'd like to continue making them if you guys send me enough questions. And, usual stuff. You guys can share, favorite, like below. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, bottom left to sub as usual. That's it for this one, guys. We'll see you again soon for another video. As always, it's Trev. I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.